All right, good morning or afternoon, crypto world. What's going on, Coin Observatory? Thank you for tuning into this power hour. Looks like BTC is making a downwards move. I'm gonna try to decipher what's going on here and try to figure it out. We did see a local top yesterday in the shape of a diamond top. We spoke about this in BitMEX Savagery. Lido posted a possible hedge. And now we're seeing a downward break, and there's several reasons we're seeing that. And I'm gonna go into that. Gotta make sure there's enough people in the chat. Let's go live on Facebook as well. You guys can give me a mic check. Let me know how audio is. Let me know how video is. Good morning, Lemar. All right, so what's going on here? We did see an inverse head and shoulders. We saw price break up into the neckline zone, but it did do what is called a diamond top. Diamond tops are local tops. It's when price presents itself as a diamond. Does this mean this plays over? Well, it could, but also could not, right? So this extended stay in this 4K range at the neckline was worrisome. Why? Because price stalled here. And when we get a price stall, it allows a lot of people to come in and essentially buy BTC at this price at the local top. And there was quite a bit of high volume selling here. And I was asking Lido how volume was. I was out for part of the day yesterday. And there's quite a bit of selling happening, some high volume distribution, right? And we did see this somewhat of a divergence here on these two tops, but not quite. It was just on the wicks. And now we're seeing price go extremely oversold. We're seeing a pullback to the 50% Fibonacci range to the previous right shoulder of our inverse head and shoulder. If this move is organic, right, and if this move is part of an upwards continuation, Cam and I were talking about this possibility last night of a down move. And why? It's because of this extended trading range, right? So when we see BTC rally, it doesn't really wait for people to accumulate it in an extended range. It just doesn't do that. It's gonna, before a rally, we typically see liquidation candle down to an upwards break or a bull trap up before a downwards break. If this is the liquidation move, right, we want to look for another long entry if long is stopped out. And we'll get there in terms of things we've done previously to hunt down a local bottom. And we've got a bottom picking strategy in our trading library. So for you guys that are VIP that are new, just go ahead and scroll through the trading library, and essentially go through, it's called a bottom picker strategy. And what we look for is the rate of change and reflexive buy volume after liquidation candles, after price discovery. So this move could very well be the liquidation of built up longs, right? Anybody that longed here, it could be that. Another thing is, we did see a local diamond top on the stock market last week. So any index that we were trading, we saw that diamond top, we saw a downward break, and then we saw it turn back around. Just to kind of give an example, I'm just going to go over the SPY, the S&P 500. Wrong chart. And this diamond top that I'm referring to is right here. We saw a gap down afterwards. We saw our diamond top. All right, we saw it retest that resistance, and we saw a diamond top, saw a gap down, price retested that resistance, broke back down for retracement before it continued rally. All right, so if you're gonna do a fib off that diamond top, we saw a 38% retracement, which typically isn't enough. But I mean, this was a bullish break to the upside. So diamond top doesn't always mean this is game over, right? It could just be a local top for a breakdown, shake out some longs, trap some shorts, and continue an upwards move. So not saying that this is what we're going to see on BTC, but we did see this on every other index last week. So if BTC is lagging a week behind or so, that could very well be the possibility. Knowing the volatility of BTC, and yes, these are not exactly, it's not, there's no inverse head and shoulders here, but when I saw this yesterday on BTC in our VIP chat room, I said, hey guys, this looks like the diamond top from the stock market last week. And going back to XBT USD, this looks like a diamond top, something similar that we saw last week in the stock market. So we can expect a down move. The fact that support is holding at the 50% retracement is good. It's healthy. So in terms of an upwards move, if this was just an upwards move, this fib was drawn on higher time frame, so 240. If this was just a pullback from an up move to the 50% Fibonacci retracement, that's healthy, right? If it breaks below the 61.8, it's not going to look good for BTC. Not going to look good at all. What's going on, J6? When is BTC going to have a comeback? Well, we were fairly close, right? And I'm highlighting this. If we can see a healthy bounce here and price turn around, this zone would be a pretty good retracement buy. I got a question just last stream on Monday saying, hey, what's going on with buy volume? You're not seeing buy volume come in right here to support the inverse head and shoulders. And you said we got to kind of wait it out a bit. And as we did, you know, the case of volume was true. There wasn't enough buy volume to keep the price going up to enter a breakout. So right now, the two key zones for BTC, things to look out for, is the break of the 50% retracement and the 61.8% retracement, which is going to be the price targets of 34.91, and ideally if we can get some bullish impulse move to the upside off this 50% fib, that would be the most ideal scenario for a long. Can we break down further? Can we break down past this previous support and form a new low? Well, that is a possibility, right? Likelihood of that happening, we won't know until the 61.8 breaks. Then the next support is going to be that 3100 range, that previous low. Yep. And as Light was saying, this is 61.8, right? We did kind of come down and touch that. If I was to expand my fib a little and go up to that last high, it did come down to 61.8, right? But we had two local tops here, so I'm going off that previous impulse to this top, swing low to this swing high, to get my retracement. All right, market cap. So we did also see an inverse head and shoulders on market cap. The rally resulted into somewhat of a rising wedge, and that broke down. The target was an 8%. It's currently over that target, and we're looking, you know, if we do back to the BTC chart, based on RSI, we're way oversold, right? And that being said, go ahead and make this RSI a little brighter. If we do get that turnaround, I'm leading the statement with if we get this turnaround at the 50 fib or 61.8 fib, we're gonna see a bullish divergence on momentum oscillators, right? And that should result in an up move. We didn't quite get a bearish div. We had one here off these two highs. So that was our first bearish div. We kind of saw that sell-off happen. We did see a new high. There's no quite candle bodies up here. But if we do get a turnaround here for a bullish div, we will very much likely see somewhat of a reset of momentum and then move upwards, because this low is currently in line with this previous low, right? But RSI is way lower. It's too soon to do a divergence buy for a divergence buy signal, but it's something to look out for. back to the altcoin market cap, we're essentially seeing the same thing. We're almost seeing a similar low. All right, I'll go ahead and highlight that off that previous low. And we're seeing higher low as of now. Price hasn't turned around for it to be a confirmed low. This is a 4-hour chart. This is the altcoin cap. So there's a chance for a bullish divergence here. And then in terms of a fib retracement, we're going to go swing low. You just get rid of this inverse head and shoulders so I can see the actual swing low. And it looks like we're still at that 50% retrace, just past it off that swing high. So swing low to swing high, we're getting a retracement. You can see the 61.8 retest, and we want to see a price turn there. If not, then alts are in trouble. What's going on, Alex? Alex Woodson is online. Watching the stream. All right, guys. Well, done with my BTC analysis. I'm ready to take on some altcoin questions. Yes, we're seeing the entire market cap come down, right? So a lot of alts are pulling back and currently hunting down some altcoin hedges, some safe altcoin hedges. If this downwards action keeps continuing, previously we had XRP act as a hedge. Currently XRP selling off just at the same pace as everything. So it's called market unison. When the market's in unison, a lot of these down moves can potentially correct into an up move. But this pullback on BTC, in my perspective, it was needed because price really lagged here at the neckline. It was like we were essentially stuck at the neckline. And when that happens, it allows for a lot of buying to come in, a lot of selling to come in too, some high volume distribution for a downward shakeout. So leverage traders, people that leveraged up here, right, and even back here on high leverage, they're not going to benefit from an up move. It's just not how markets work, right? People that bought here, you know, with futures and still riding this thing, we did signal a long down here. Lido did, and now, you know, we did say we can head short over here. The futures traders that played those bigger swing moves to capitalize on the actual range, they're going to be in better position than people just buying the top of the neckline. All right, awesome. So we're starting to get altcoin requests. Thoughts on the sell-off volume? It's pretty high, right? I was actually wondering about sell-off volume before, you know, up here in this range. There's a high volume distribution. There's yeah. But I mean, I think this move is needed so long as it doesn't break this right shoulder. If you break this right shoulder, we're in deep trouble, right? Or BTC is. If it doesn't break that right shoulder, then this down move was needed to liquidate and stop hunt before an upwards move up. We've always seen this, a big down move liquidation candle before a rally. All right, going over some altcoins. I'm gonna go ahead and start with TRX. That was our first request. We covered TRX, Ripple, and WAN. Let me see if this chart's still up. We were trying to find the top for TRX yesterday. Cam B and I were, and I told him to look for the TRX ETH. And so this line has been on here, right, since yesterday. And we were trying to find a local top for TRX, and we did so on the ETH chart based on that last daily close swing high. And we kind of expected this. I hope he announced it when it did reach that price, because we were still way back here before I set this up, and he's in Australia and I'm in Puerto Rico, so it's 3 a.m. whenever this price action happened. We were kind of expecting it to turn around right there, and it wigged right off. So back to TRX BTC, it did hit our take profit target too from our last update for you guys that are margin trading alts with us. At this point, right, I would not still be long in TRX. I'd wait to see what the chart does. One thing we know is as these big upwards moves happen, right, we're likely going to see a retracement. So just going off that last range, we were very well going to see a retest of this previous breakout formation, which is somewhat of a bull flag for this big up move. And a 50% retracement or 61.8% retracement. But TRX has been rallying for quite some time. We did have a signal some 40 days ago, I believe. Signaled this thing pretty far back. When was my last long signal on TRX? Okay, so you guys topped out at TRX from $12.21 was our long entry. So from 351 to 684. I would not be looking to get back in until we see this chart play out. We want to see what happens. RSI is not quite divergent. With this last high, it actually was. So we want to see the chart settle. We want to see another trading range before FOMOing in on this trade. In terms of a longer term retracement, we could see TRX pull back quite a bit. You guys remember the XRP run a couple of months ago when we saw a local top, and it kind of did that a few times and it started pulling back. So we can see a retracement all the way back down to the 548 for 50%. That would be a healthy retracement. We know that the 23.6% retracement is just not sufficient. If you guys are subscribers, you go through our trading library, and there's a Fibonacci retracement and extensions video. It's a workshop. I recommend you watch that to kind of figure out fibs and when is a good time to buy back a retracement buys and continuations, and then failures to continue. Go ahead and set some alerts there for TRX. All right, XRP, Ripple. All right, last power hour, I was asked about Ripple. I said moving averages were still looking to the downside. Our team did spot a descending broadening wedge that was signaled for an attempted reversal. Well, that trade got stopped out, right? Better get stopped out than liquidated. Better get stopped out than hodl. Because, if you go to the daily chart, we're still much to the downside. So moving averages are still coming down. We did see the first reversal formation. It's definitely retested and price broke down below. These could be 3 black crows. If these are 3 black crows in terms of 3 red candles of the same size, we can see a further pullback. As of now, I would say support for Ripple is this previous low right here, right? The 86.36. And the local top is going to be where we had these 2 tops. So as of now, Ripple's in a range trade. We've got 1, 2, 3 touches and a failed breakout attempt. So I'd like to see a retest of the support zone. If you can get some support here for a turnaround, then we would call Ripple an arranged trade. So buying support, selling resistance. All right, going over, got TRX, got Ripple. Waves is looking interesting. All right, I was looking at waves earlier today, and I'll go over that. It looks like it's ready for an upwards move. So what is going on here? So you guys know I really like my moving average strategies. We still don't have a long signal here. Moving averages are below the long-term MA. The short-term MA is below the mid-term MA. Don't see a reversal formation. This looks like a possible continuation triangle, and if it is, it's going to be in trouble. Oh, not quite. This thing looks ugly. The hourly, we're seeing another continuation triangle. So if I was supposed to target just off this move, all right, a downward target off this first bear flag. We see the 1.618 fib, completely no support. Trying to catch support off the 2.61. Further continuation targets are going to be down here. We got a 8119 and a 7940 just based off this initial downwards break. Waves and EOS. So waves had an epic surge on bullish news. We did see a pullback. I think my pre-charted chart is on Bittrex. Go to the daily. All right, so one warning signal here is that we don't quite have a whole lot of momentum, is the closure of these moving averages. When this happens, we expect it's kind of like our first exit signal when we're in these swing trades. So one wants to get it on the break and get out right here. If you're a moving average trader, these are the rules, right? And we like our moving average strategies because they worked. That being said, if we were to fib this last move from this swing low to the swing high, it's right at the 50% retracement. We're seeing buy volume come in and pick up the chart in a time where the entire market's pulling back. The RSI is turning at 44. DI negative has not crossed DI positive. The ADX is at 40. If the ADX was at 24, 25, I'd be more worried. Looks like a possible retracement buy, right? If I was to get into this trade, I'd definitely have a stop at the last swing low right here on that last wick, or I would wait to see a stronger bounce off the 50 or possibly a bounce off the 61.8. So I'm going to set alerts for the 38.2 fib level. I'm going to set an alert for the 61.8 fib level. But as of now, we're seeing strong buy volume at the time of a market unison of a sell-off. So that is a strong indication that waves could be seeing another continuation wave. Guys, if I covered your altcoin, please go ahead and smash that like button. If you appreciate the analysis, go ahead and smash that like button. Just do me a favor and smash that like button. It really helps us with YouTube. EOS. And this one's in market unison, right? It's pulling back with the entire market. One thing that's problematic here, well, we see these two lows, right? And we know that support is in this range, the 5,000 range or 50,000 range. And our local resistance is going to be right here, where price failed to break above several times. The moving averages are still to the upside. It's looking like it could be a fake out though, right? So if I was to turn off the chart and just look at moving averages, if we get another closure right here, then we're going to be in trouble. EOS is going to be in trouble. All right, back to the chart. ADX, the average actual index is at 21. It's not the strongest level, but we are in a range. DI negative is about to cross above DI positive, so we could see a sell-off. We could see a strong one for a retest of previous lows. Local low is going to be the mid-range, and then the actual low is going to be down here. In terms of a fib retracement, what are we seeing? $38.2 retracement. We're not going to count this swing high. The failed breakout, so we could see the 50%, right, and a 61.8. So EOS is looking rather tricky. EOS BTC. Getting sudden alert for the 50. All right, going over ADA. All right, ADA was signaled as at bottom right around here. We did see ADA break out. All right, moving averages are still to the upside, and this thing that happens, you know, the more intense the breakout, the more intense the volatility in crypto. So the ability to absorb that risk, you know, no one wants to buy up here. No one wants to FOMO. We want to buy the retracement buys. So this was definitely a retracement, right? Bounced right above the 50% fib on pretty good volume. You see a bullish continuation. And as of now, price is upholding above this support zone. Now we're seeing market unison in terms of this is a sell-off, right? Back to initial fib targets when I had set up this trade call. What is this beeping? All right, so going off just this extended flag here, last target was at 12,242, and we're seeing support coming here. We're gonna see support attempt to play out. So support levels for ADA. The 1188 and 1102, right? The next two support levels. You can almost get rid of this one just based on fibs of the initial breakout. Moving averages are still to the upside. Is there a divergence? There is a bit of a bearish divergence. So we're going to see more of a pullback. This divergence needs to correct before we can see another leg up. It's actually not divergent. 240. Okay, yes it is. in terms of a market bottom, right, we want to see a double bottom, right, instead of in terms of a bear market bottom. We want to see a double bottom, and you want to see price break up above the last trading range, and that last trading range act as support. So if this trading range holds, and this was our double bottom on ADA, then it would be safe to assume we see a bullish divergence here, another divergence there, and I'll highlight those. We can assume that ADA has bottomed out for this term. So this was our big bullish div, followed by another shakeout type of move. All right, we got another lower low here, but a higher low on RSI. Now we're seeing an upwards move develop. So I'd want to see what happens in this range for ADA. All right, going over Decred. DCR has served as a hedge several times. So when the market pulls back, Decred has acted as a possible hedge. Currently, I'm not seeing a long signal based on my moving averages. It's just not happening for Decred. I would wait for a retest of previous low before entering a long position. It doesn't quite look ready to rally. Elastos, is that XCL? You can give me the ticker. I'll get there sooner. Alright fam, if you guys have any more altcoin requests, show them now. So I can go over altcoins for you. You just give me the ticker ELA. Awesome, thank you. Nice, things in a continued downtrend. As a swing trader, I don't like touching tokens that are doing this unless we see a reversal pattern. There looks like there could be an extended falling wedge here. The price hasn't broken support, or it has broken resistance. Let me go in here. Things trading on 27 BTC, pretty low volume token, just on 2 exchanges. So this wedge play failed, right? We saw a breakout, but not enough volume to support it. Just not a fan of tokens that are in a definite downtrend. Wedge retested, failed to retest, and it should have been the last stop loss here, looking for a new long entry. Lun, L-U-N. Alright, this is looking like a descending triangle. Based on a descending triangle, what kind of target can we expect down? Oh, it's a time target. 16% from the break. So where does that put price? I'd expect Loon to come down to the 32.97 or so. Awesome. Do you have any more altcoin requests? Going over at Tezos. All right, this looks interesting. I'm gonna put it on log. We're seeing moving averages wanting to attempt to break to the upside. DMI is still low. There's no trend established though, right? We're still in this range. But let's go to 240. A little bit of a parallel channel. Not quite a wedge, not quite a bull flag. And price is trading above it, right? And during a market sell-off, we're seeing support at the attempted retest of resistance of this channel. So we're seeing on the 4-hour, we're seeing a little bit of support coming here. It's very low volume though on Bitfinex. Let me find a better exchange. There's possibly more volume on here. This thing's dry. Looks like it could be potentially ready to rally on the daily chart, right? You did see some sell-off candles, right? So you could be stop hunts. If I was to enter this trade, I would have my stop at 11,293, and then initial target, maybe some pretty low targets based on this range. It's down low. If you were to get price crossing above the longer term MA and an MA cross, right, for an attempted rally on Tezos, it looks like there's also potentially a bigger wedge. This is an interesting chart. So T1 would be 13.66, 15.316, 17.9. and so on, just based on fibs. What's going on in terms of the trend? Not quite sure this qualifies as a wedge, not yet. I can't get it to work. I mean, potentially this could be the setup. It's looking promising though. What's going on, Montana, Matt? Ncash, MFT, Storm, Zill. Awesome. Going over Zill. Wrong exchange. Alright, so you've been in Zill for quite some time. It is definitely retesting previous support levels, right? And we're in market unison, so we're gonna see that sell-off happen. We want to see what happens here. Did have an updated stop on Zill in our chat, in our trade updates. So there's an updated stop loss on here for a trailing stop. Yeah, so we want to see what happens in this price channel. We can actually drag this line a little further and say we are back into the previous range. So if you can't find support at 551 around here, around these lows, and we can expect price to come back down and retest previous channel low and the 50% fib of the big down move. If we get support here, then we can expect further continuation. We still don't have a sell signal based on my daily moving average strategies. The 4 hour, is this a retracement buy? This could be a retracement. We see price pull back to my long-term MA. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we want to see this act as support. Storm. I believe Storm was trying to rally earlier today during the sell-off. We did see quite a bit of volume come in and try to lift this chart. What's going on the daily? All right, daily chart. Short-term moving average crossed over our midterm. Quite a bit of volume. ADX is at 15, so the trend is not very strong yet. But the RSI is at 52, so momentum is to the upside. It is past the 2 previous RSI highs. So in terms of a rally, this thing can be sustainable, right? We just want to see further continuation of it. There's been somewhat of a round bottom, but then the DI positive is definitely going up. This is quite a bit of volume coming in here. So it could be the beginning of a rally on Storm. And cash. We're gonna expect to retest the previous support, right? Did have a signal on Encash. It's currently still in range. If it breaks previous low, stick to that stop loss on the trade. Better get stopped out than hodl indefinitely, right? We want to be the guy that didn't stop out on this moving average break or this moving average break. MFT, what looked like was going to be a breakout, right? This one has not stopped us out yet. My stop was at the previous low. We did see an attempted breakout, right? And now that we're seeing a market-wide sell-off, right? And this is a retest of that falling wedge. Now we're seeing a market-wide sell-off. Some tokens are going to sell off aggressively and others might actually rally. So we want to give something like this, which was a pretty good reversal setup on decent volume. We want to give it a chance to actually rally rather than just getting stopped out too soon. All right, especially if it hasn't taken out our last stop. Now, if this is setting up to be a bear flag, the trade's going to get stopped out. I covered XRP and I covered TRX, Giorgio, so if you can kind of go back through the chat or through the video, you'll be able to cover them, get an update on them. We got Max and Usman. You guys on Facebook, do you have any altcoin requests, suggestions for me to cover? Going over BLZ. Alright, don't have a signal on BLZ. Moving averages are not looking good. So these tweezer tops up here should have given a clear sell signal, right? And then price continuing on the downside. This could be a bear flag with some targets. This is a bear flag, right? Just playing off this formation from it's already at the 1.618 fib. Further downside, could come down to 960. It could. Looks like setting up possibly another bear flag. So this thing is in a downtrend. You could see some downtrend acceleration. It's starting to look like the old Litecoin chart. Alright, swing low to swing high. I'm staying out of Bcash until the Bcash battle. There's a decisive winner. I do believe that with BCH ABC and BCH SV, they're both going to go broke. And they're going to end up mining the original Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin Core. That'd be the most ideal scenario for the entire market. It would teach both idiots a good lesson. Looking at BCH ABC, we're seeing a 61.8 retracement, a little bit of buy volume. I'm not sure I'd leverage that just yet. Somebody caught the knife here and they did so at the 61.8 retracement. Not seeing any divergences. It is way too soon to play that. If this is the bounce off the 61.8, we could see continuation. But I would want to see what happens if price gets back into the 50. Possibly a low leverage, long entry on a good stop at the 50, just to confirm that this is actually indeed a head turn. Monero. No, this was looking like a strong entry, right? With the MAs coiling, price trying to get up above a long-term MA, and now we're seeing a downward break. This is essentially market unison. Stopped out, remains stopped out until further notice. Alright, it's below previous support. I would wait for price to get back up on Monero before attempting to long again. I don't like this formation. I thought I had seen somewhat of a fractal. Same thing that we saw in this range, but price definitely broke below support, and back here it didn't. This could be due to market unison. I mean, I've seen moves like this on BTC that have rendered trades invalid for a certain time frame, and then we saw BTC turn around and the market cap turn around. I've seen several of these moves. So let's go back to BTC. What's happening here? Still holding at the 50. All right. We're getting close to time, so go ahead and drop two more alt requests. I'm gonna go over the ones that are in the chat before wrapping up. I did cover BCH ABC. I'm gonna go over THX for Michael. I don't see it on Coinigy, so I can go over ONT and Nano. At this point, I'd expect to retest the previous low. There is no trend acceleration. Trends at 17, so there's still no trend established, even though price and moving averages are attempting to converge to the upside. RSI did break above resistance, right? But it turned back around, so it's going to try to find support. I'd wait and see if we can get a retest of the last swing low. That could be a good grab, a good knife catch. This thing is getting tighter, right? It's currently retesting support, retesting resistance to see if you can find support at the top of this wedge. This thing's worth giving some time to, just because we see a failed bullish pennant try to break out. And then a pullback. It looks like a 61.8 retracement of this last move. It did come down to 78, which isn't typically healthy. Currently back at the 61.8. So if you can get a turnaround over here for a bullish continuation, that's good. If not, tight stop at the 78.6, or maybe tight stop at range low. It just depends on someone's threshold for risk, right? How much risk can and you want to be exposed to. Going over Nano. Once again, market unison in the form of a sell-off. Nano's ADX is still below 24. There's still no range established. Sorry, there's still no trend established. We are in a range. Going over fib retracement. This looks like a 78.6. Just eyeballing it. I don't like 78.6 retracements, right? They're too much. The golden ratio is we want to see a chart retrace after a big impulse move. We want to see a 61.8. Or we want to see 50%, right? If it breaks to 61.8, I'm no longer interested. Even though we're seeing price and moving averages converge, get tight, price attempted to break up above the longer term MA, now it's currently coming back down. LTC and ETH, awesome. Thanks, Mark. I actually asked for 2 more alts, and it looks like you got yours covered. All right, Litecoin BTC, descending broadening wedge. I did signal this one. We did expect an upwards move from Litecoin. It actually retested that resistance. It turned into support twice, right? So we're seeing a lot more retests out of the market, which is more confirmation levels of, hey, you know, this is a good price for Litecoin currently with current market conditions. We did see a descending broadening wedge with several touches and an upwards rally. And based on historical support, I'd want to see what happens at this swing low. And we could be entering a range, right? We're seeing a lot of these tokens due to this market sell-off kind of come back and retest previous resistance, and it's not acting as support. While the market's in unison, the market's selling off. If BTC can turn around at the levels that we spoke about early in the chat, right, which are the 50% or 61.8, and we could see alts turn around as well, right, and find support at these retracement levels. Now, in terms of this last move up from this swing low to that swing high, what can we expect from Litecoin? 38.2 retracement. There's still room to come down for the 50. There's still room to come down for the 61.8. So we want to see what happens with BTC and alts over the next day or two. Kind of keep your eyes peeled for those head turns. Those head turns can prove if we do see a head turn on BTC, just like how I started this live stream. If we see a head turn here, this could have been very well a shakeout for anybody built up and leveraged here during this extended 3-4 day range, right? A lot of people can buy and to get one liquidated, two stopped out, give their money to market makers before a big impulse up, right? So long as this right shoulder level holds, so long as 61.8 holds, we can assume if we get good impulse volume here that this is going to be one of those quick, fast moves up. And if we don't, then we're going to see a retest of these lower lows. So same things I'm going to apply on alts because everything's moving in unison, except for several altcoins like waves and things that are not moving along the entire market cap. They're moving with an inverse correlation to BTC currently, or unaffected by BTC. All right, going over ETH. So we know there's a fork coming up on Ether. We could see another rally or another upwards move. We should have seen this coming, right? We should have totally seen this coming on ETH. There's a big rising wedge right here. $38 retracement. So we're going to see ETH 119. We're going to see ETH at 110. That's just how retracements work, right? But that would be healthy levels to pick it up again, to pick up some more ETH. Going over the 4 hour, you definitely broke below the longer term MA, and in this wedge from the daily chart is just absolutely on point on the 4 hour as well. We've got our touches, you got our 5 touches. 1, 2, all that 3, 4, 5 breakdown. Ironically, the 50% and 61.8 retracement, they coincide with where we called for an Ether rally, right? So when Ether started, when Ether retested here for an upwards move, that let us know that ETH is bullish because it broke above that previous range before making 2 swing lows. And there was a reverse pennant here for, came back down and entered a breakout. So we want to see ETH at 117, 120 range. We want to see ETH at 110. That's as low as we want to see ETH. Anything lower than that, and we're going to see another break of the previous lows on Ether. Crypto Ace, it did land on the golden fib ratio, but we see some volume. We still don't see reflexivity. We still don't see a turn. A head turn there could be a violent upwards move. Lack of a head turn there, continued sell-off, continued price discovery can lead to further downside. That's about it for the update. If I covered your alt, if I covered your coins, go ahead and smash that like button. Share the video with some friends. If you guys are not in our Discord, there's a link in the video description. Join our Discord, get access to some of our signals, to chat, to the trading library, that would moving average strategies, a lot of things that I covered in this power hour we teach in our Discords. If you're just looking to get education out of it, go ahead and get in there. You can do a 7-day trial. You can get a guest pass for a couple of hours. Yeah, we'll see you in Discord. Thank you for tuning in. And, you guys know what to expect.